that a lot of people are still enjoying their tea and coffee. But anyway, we would start this session to be on time. And so during the day, let me set some context to this discussion. We have been discussing a lot of emerging technologies today. For example, there have been sessions, I was moderating one of them. We spoke about artificial intelligence, generative AI. We spoke about cloud and all of that. Now, there is no doubt that, and this is also one of the points which emanated from that discussion, is that tech has indeed emerged as a big enabler of businesses and also has brought about democratization in unprecedented ways. For example, let me give a very rough example. If somebody wanted to, to have a video, edit it and broadcast it 20 years back, that would have been next to impossible for a man on the street. Because first of all, you needed a camera, a team to get your video in shape, get it edited. But the most difficult part was to air it. You will have to be a channel worth millions of rupees or dollars or whatever it is. It was so difficult, but today you have a situation where this is happening left, right, and center. And this is the kind of democratization that technology has brought in. And this is also true for the world of business, in the sense that, the traditional way of thinking was about businesses. What was it? It was that, a traditional business, a legacy that has been built over ages and centuries. Those were the ones which went on to become some of the hugest or the largest enterprises. That doesn't hold true today. A lot of the companies in the top 10 today are technology companies that were, in contrast to those traditional legacy enterprises, they can be called as born yesterday. But today they are ruling the world. So such has been the magnanimous impact of technology. And it is in that context that we are having this conversation, where we are going to talk about another very promising strand of technology, which is Web3. Now, I'm sure, I'm also one of them, that I'm not a technical person, to be very forthright right at the beginning, but Web3 is a difficult concept to grasp, also because it relies on technology which is difficult to grasp, which is blockchain. So we are going to discuss all these various strands of Web3, and I would like to start with Dilip. Dilip, the world has seen evolution in all different spheres of technology. Now, with Web also, this is coming. We saw Web 1, 2, and now 3. How would you really, delineate this evolution and try and explain it to our viewers about how things have really, really drastically changed over the past several years?
Thank you. So, just to take your example ahead, you talked about how difficult it was to make a video. Now, in today's Web 2 world, if you make a video and you use one of the channels, like a centralized channel like YouTube or Facebook or WhatsApp or something, right? You give a substantial amount of revenue to them, right? You're using their services. You have no way of being able to take advantage of the time you spend with them. Now, Web 3 is actually a decentralized aspect of Web 2. It is the next generation of internet. 3 years from now, or even quicker, you will forget Web 2. It'll only be Web 3 type of internet as you move from the Web 1 to Web 2. It'll be a decentralized architecture. You can actually monetize the time that you spend on the net. So you don't have to give your data to a centralized platform who monetizes that and only gives you a small percentage. You can actually monetize the whole aspect that you do. It also leverages blockchain. Now, a lot of times we mistake the technology for the user application. I think it's very simple to keep the user application outside. So, example would be, I don't know if we've all heard of Chrome, right? Chrome, a Google browser. There is also a Brave browser, which is a Web3 browser. You heard of Uber, right? There's a Bangalore company called Drive, which allows you to directly connect with the partner driver, etc., etc. So in Web 2, normally we surrender our data, we surrender our rights to a centralized platform. In Web 3, we need not do that. Web 2 is very difficult to find interoperability, but Web 3 you will find actually interoperability going through. There's also going to be a lot of trust and transparency, in a Web 3 system versus to a Web 2 system. And there are many applications in Web 2. So simply put, right, in a Web 2 situation, you use applications, you upload data, where someone else uses your data and your application to make money, and you get a small sliver of it. Here, in Web 3, you would actually do the same thing, but you will be in control of your data through smart contracts, etc., which we'll be talking about later. You can actually monetize it in a different way. It's actually got the power to empower 1.4 billion Indians in a very, very different manner.
Right. So that is music to my ears. And I'm sure great news for all those people who are peering into their mobile phones. There will come a time when all these monitoring of mobile devices will yield a lot of money. But can one make a living out of it?
Yes, you can. There are a lot of people who are doing it, right?
Right now, as we speak.
As we speak. I don't know, there are a lot of X to earn platforms in the world. You can actually do that. We just met with someone from Japan who does it. A lot of people can. A lot of Indians are doing it. There are a lot of companies who are doing it, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. That's excellent news. And I would now request Karan to provide us with his perspective on this evolution, on the evolution of this extremely dynamic space.
Yeah, thanks. I think Dilip correctly spoke about tradability and transparency. But one aspect which I would like to highlight more, in addition to what he said, is about ownership, right? Web 1, let's go back in the late 80s. Web 1 was read. Web 2 then came with social media and Facebook and the like, where it was read and write. And then through the blockchain is what we now talk of Web 3, which is read, write, and own. Where through using blockchain technologies, creators, users, players can actually own their digital assets on the blockchain. And those IPs and individual creators can actually own the assets and not just work with the centralized corporation through which they get a revenue share, but they actually are the owners of that. They retain their IP rights and be owners of digital assets on blockchain, right? And this is what Web3 also allows for from an ownership aspect. And we are in the gaming side and the metaverse side of Web3, and from our research, we find that today in the Gen Z population, they're spending more than 12 hours a week in virtual gaming environments, be it a game, be it a metaverse, or an immersive environment, apart from TV. So 12 hours a week is actually a lot of time, maybe more than what people are even spending watching TV. And they all want to be creators. And through Web3, you can monetize and own not only can you monetize, which Dilip explained, but you can also own your assets. And own your individual IP.
Yes, yes. So, making way to the next question, which is related to what you said, is, what could be some of the, really day-to-day uses for Web3, and particularly in industries like the one that you belong to, entertainment, gaming, all of that?
No, so, we'll give an example first, right? And you can take a gaming example where, you have a game like Fortnite where people go and play, but do you actually own that skin which is in that game, right? Where the players are playing. But if you have a Web3 platform, whether it's like a sandbox or a decentralized or any gaming Web3 platform, you can actually own those assets which are on that platform. So that is one key immediate distinction. Secondly, you can earn up to 95% of your revenues through Web3, right? Where you can not only own your assets, but then they can, because it's all on blockchain, it's transparent. So the prices of the assets are very clear. You can trade in those assets. And if it's your IP, you can keep up to 95% to 97 to 98% of those revenues, right? And what are the day-to-day applications, right? Today, let's take the biggest, one of the biggest media companies in the world. Let's talk of Disney, right? They've just come out with an iOS app called Disney Pinnacle, which is built by Dapper Labs, which is a large Web3 gaming studio. And all those collections, all those collectibles which they're selling, pins of Disney characters like Mickey Mouse and the various other characters, all those pins are actually powered on blockchain. You can pay through fiat, you can pay with your iOS credits, you can pay through your iOS store, but the entire technology which is driving it is built on a Flow blockchain, which is a Dapper Labs blockchain. And this is just an example of a use case, right, of one of the biggest IPs available in the world.
Absolutely. Sticking on to the subject of blockchain, which is the underlying technology for Web3, so it is also the underlying technology for something like crypto. And this is where I would like to bring Sumit into the discussion. So Sumit, it would be great if you could throw some light on how blockchain is instrumental, because I don't know how many people in this room have invested in cryptocurrencies, but I'm sure that they don't know that blockchain is the underlying technology on which cryptocurrency is based. So it would be great if you could throw some light on how it is very instrumental in doing that and what is the way forward.
Yeah. So let me first clarify the point of how blockchain is linked with crypto in very simple words. Blockchain essentially is chain of blocks. Every block gets added to the chain by some consensus mechanism, that is some validation, and that validation is done by distributed network. That distributed network does that validation for an incentive. That is crypto. That is a token. It can be any kind of token. So blockchain's incentive mechanism is crypto, tokens. It can be Bitcoin, it can be Ethereum, it can be any token for that matter. If there is no token, there is no incentive for people to run that blockchain, and there will not be any large public blockchain network that you will be able to see, like Bitcoin is a classic example of that. So that's how blockchain and crypto are linked with each other. You cannot have just blockchain without the crypto element. If that is the case, then it will be a mere database where it's not decentralized or where nodes are not participating in the network. So it removes the sole purpose of decentralization in the first place. And what I believe is that public blockchain networks are far, far more powerful than any private blockchain network. And just like open source is a lot more powerful as a technology than a closed source, and you allow developers to build on that closed source. That doesn't scale exponentially with time. So that is basically how blockchains and crypto are linked with each other. Blockchain is the underlying technology which started everything. Actually, blockchain se pehle Bitcoin was the first word that became popular, right? Bitcoin came first. Blockchain again was existing before that also, but it's like it was not.
Not in the forefront. That is the reason why I said that a lot of people who may have invested may not be aware that blockchain is the underlying.
Yeah, blockchain is the underlying technology, and it has very high correlation with crypto tokens. When you combine these two, it's like there is one analogy that I essentially give. Imagine a car, and car has engine, body, and a fuel, like petrol or diesel. Your fuel is the crypto tokens that runs the car. The engine is the blockchain, which is the base that runs that car. And your body is like, a lot of people talk about the word Web3, right? Web3 essentially is applications that are using blockchain at the core of it. And just like you use car to go from point A to point B, you need all of this, and everything is interlinked with each other. If some people say, oh, crypto, blockchain, and Web3, essentially it's part of the same puzzle. You need to combine this and look at it from the right perspective to be able to make sense out of it. And Web3 is essentially what people will see as an output to the next evolution of the internet, what Dilip sir mentioned just now.
Wonderful. Time is up. I can see that on the buzzer. So apologies for not taking this discussion further, but that's a great analogy of the engine and the car body. I mean, if the engine were not there, nothing is going to happen, no matter what the body is. And I am sure Dilip wants to add something to it.
No, I think, in all fairness, since you're a media house, if you're not looking at how Web3 is going to disrupt you as a media house, then you have...
We are hugely disrupted already by Web 2.
Yeah, by Twitter. Now news comes there first.
But the impact on your businesses by Web3 will be exponential to that than the Twitter and all disruption of your business.
I know. I'm just happy that I retire from this business.
Imagine you paying people to read content.
True. Yeah, that is what it has come to, and it's not new. This disruption has been there since the past couple of years, not couple of years, but several years, since the advent of Google and YouTube and all of that. The entire traditional business model has been turned upside down. I mean, because earlier the thought was that in order to be remunerative, you have to sell something. But here you are not selling something. You are providing it for free, and still you are becoming a multi-billion enterprise. That in itself tells a lot about... I'm really sorry, this discussion, I'm sure, would have gone on, and we had little time to discuss this, although this is a brilliant subject for discussion, and how the entire technology landscape, not only the landscape, but how humanity may see a huge and a phenomenal change in the way we live and work. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, times are going to be changing drastically. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and thanks a lot.